They walk alone. They don't follow the rules of the social hierarchy, and they rarely care what others think. The Sigma male is often portrayed as mysterious, independent, and confident, a man who chooses solitude over popularity. But for all the admiration that image brings, there's also a side that people quietly dislike. Some even say Sigma males are cold, arrogant, or disconnected from the real world. In today's world of social media labels, the Sigma has become almost a myth, the man outside the alpha-beta system, supposedly untouchable. But behind that idea is a person who faces constant misunderstanding. The things people hate about Sigma males often come from the same traits that make them stand out. Independence, detachment, and a quiet drive for freedom can be inspiring, but they can also make others feel rejected or unseen. This video explores the 6 main things people truly hate about the Sigma male. We'll look at the reasons behind these feelings, how they show up in everyday life, and what they reveal about human connection. Because being the lone wolf may look powerful, but it also comes with a price, and not everyone sees it as admirable. Thing number 1, feeling constantly misunderstood. One of the biggest frustrations Sigma males face is being misunderstood. People often mistake their silence for arrogance or their independence for rudeness. Sigma males don't crave attention the way alpha personalities might. They prefer to stay in their lane, doing their own thing without explaining themselves. But that same behavior makes others feel shut out or confused. In social settings, the Sigma's quiet nature can easily be misread. When a Sigma man observes instead of speaking, people sometimes assume he's judging them. When he chooses not to follow the crowd, others see it as rebellion. This misunderstanding builds a wall between the Sigma and those around him, not because he wants it, but because his values don't fit the typical mold. Many people hate that they can't figure out a Sigma. Human nature is drawn to clarity, predictability, and belonging. Sigma males disrupt that. They rarely share what they're thinking, and they often keep emotional distance until they truly trust someone. To others, that can feel cold or even superior. In truth, it's usually about self-protection and preference, not pride. The more misunderstood they become, the more Sigma males withdraw, which only fuels the same misunderstanding. It's a loop. The quieter they get, the more people assume something negative. The Sigma sees this as proof that society doesn't value authenticity unless it's loud. Meanwhile, others see the Sigma as distant or uninterested. Both sides miss the point. In the end, people hate Sigma males not because they are bad individuals, but because their quiet confidence exposes how dependent most people are on validation and approval. The Sigma's refusal to play that game can feel like a mirror reflecting others' insecurities back at them. Thing number 2, emotional aloofness or seeming indifference. Another reason people dislike Sigma males is their emotional distance. They don't show much reaction even in intense situations. To friends or partners, this can feel like a lack of care or warmth. In reality, many Sigma males feel deeply. They just don't express emotions in the way most people expect. Society tends to reward emotional visibility. Smiles, laughter, shared vulnerability, these are signs of connection. Sigma males, however, internalize their emotions. They prefer to process feelings privately. This can make others feel disconnected or even rejected. When someone opens up to a Sigma and doesn't get the expected emotional response, it can sting. This aloofness is often mistaken for pride or coldness. In relationships, it becomes a real challenge. A partner might see the Sigma's calm silence during arguments as detachment, when it's actually restraint. Instead of reacting, the Sigma retreats, analyzes, and waits until emotions settle before speaking. While that may be logical, it doesn't feel comforting in emotional moments. In the workplace or in friendships, this same calm can be misread as lack of interest. Sigma males rarely flatter or over-communicate. They believe respect is earned through consistency, not constant reassurance. But many people take that minimal communication personally, assuming the Sigma looks down on them. Over time, this emotional distance makes Sigma males seem unapproachable. They may be admired for their composure, but not liked for it. People crave warmth, and when someone doesn't offer it, they react with dislike or suspicion. It's not that Sigma males don't care, it's that they've learned to guard their emotions in a world that rewards performance over authenticity. Thing number 3. Difficulty in deep relationships and commitments. Being a lone wolf sounds appealing, until it comes to relationships. Sigma males often find it hard to build and maintain deep connections. Their independence, which looks strong on the outside, can become a wall that blocks closeness. They prefer to be self-reliant. They rarely ask for help, and they dislike depending on others. While this makes them capable and disciplined, it also makes partners or friends feel unneeded. In a relationship, people want to feel like they matter. When a Sigma seems perfectly fine alone, it can feel like emotional rejection. Commitment also challenges the Sigma's need for space. They fear losing their individuality inside a relationship. To them, love should not mean ownership or control. But their constant need for freedom can make partners feel unsafe or unwanted. The more someone tries to get closer, the more the Sigma pulls away, not out of malice, but out of self-preservation. Another layer is vulnerability. Sigma males don't open up easily. They analyze emotions instead of expressing them, which slows intimacy. People who date or befriend a Sigma may find themselves guessing what he feels, which becomes tiring over time. Because of this, many Sigma males experience short-lived relationships. People admire their mystery at first, then grow frustrated by their distance. They can seem emotionally unavailable, even when they care deeply. The result is a pattern of solitude, not because they choose loneliness, but because they find it easier than trying to explain who they are to someone who won't understand. The hard truth is that many people hate Sigma males because being close to one often feels like chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught. The Sigma isn't trying to hurt anyone. He's just trying to protect the small space of peace he's built in a noisy world. Thing number 4, rejection of social norms that actually hurts. Social bonds. Sigma males take pride in not following the crowd. They question authority, ignore trends, and prefer to move through life by their own rules. This makes them look fearless and free. But it also isolates them. Many people dislike Sigma males because their rejection of social norms often feels like rejection of people themselves. Human beings are wired for belonging. We build our lives around shared values, traditions, and expectations. When a Sigma male dismisses those, it can feel like he's saying everyone else is wrong. For example, at work he might refuse to play office politics or avoid team events. To him, that's independence. To others, it's arrogance or lack of teamwork. In friendships, the same pattern shows up. Sigma males don't always engage in small talk or social rituals. They see it as fake or unnecessary. But those rituals, the birthdays, the check-ins, the shared gossip, are what bond people together. When a Sigma ignores them, it creates distance. People also dislike how Sigma males don't seek validation. Most social groups rely on shared approval to keep things smooth. The Sigma's indifference to praise or criticism can frustrate others who need feedback to feel valued. It's as if the Sigma operates on his own invisible set of rules that no one else can understand. Ironically, this independence can make Sigma males misunderstood as cold or superior, even when they're just trying to stay authentic. They see conformity as weakness. Others see their resistance as disrespect. The truth lies somewhere in between. By rejecting social norms, Sigma males often lose chances for deep connection. Not because they can't connect, but because they don't play by the same social rules that most people depend on. This misunderstanding grows into dislike, and dislike turns into distance. The Sigma male might believe he's protecting his individuality, but sometimes he's just pushing people away without realizing it. Thing number 5. The lone wolf image that becomes loneliness or isolation. The lone wolf identity is what defines the Sigma male. He's self-sufficient, silent, and seems to thrive alone. It's an image that people admire from afar, but up close it can be unsettling. People hate the Sigma male not just because he's independent, but because his independence exposes how fragile most social attachments are. At first, solitude looks powerful. The Sigma doesn't need approval, company, or status. But over time, that separation can turn into isolation. Friends drift away, relationships fade, and suddenly, being alone isn't a choice, it's a habit. What others see as peace might quietly be emptiness. This isolation makes people uncomfortable. Most individuals depend on social structure for validation. Seeing someone detached from that can feel threatening. It challenges how they define happiness. So instead of trying to understand the Sigma, they criticize him. They call him distant, emotionless, or disconnected from reality. Yet the Sigma's solitude often hides deep observation. He watches more than he speaks. He values time alone because it gives him control over his energy and emotions. But no one is completely immune to loneliness. The Sigma just refuses to show it. People hate this because it looks unnatural. Humans are social creatures. They bond over shared struggle and emotion. The Sigma's ability to detach feels almost inhuman, and that creates a gap others can't bridge. What begins as admiration for his independence can shift into resentment. Friends may say, he thinks he's better than everyone, when really the Sigma is just protecting his peace. But peace without connection is fragile. The lone wolf image inspires envy and irritation in equal measure, because it reminds people of what they both want and fear, absolute self-reliance. Thing number 6, overemphasis on independence that can come off as arrogance. The final thing people hate about Sigma males is how their independence can appear as arrogance. They do not need validation, they rarely compromise, and they make decisions on their own terms. To outsiders, that confidence can feel like superiority. Sigma males often believe that relying on others weakens them. They value control and competence above comfort and connection. This attitude helps them succeed in tough environments, but makes them hard to approach. In groups, they speak only when necessary. In relationships, they guard their opinions tightly. This can easily be mistaken for dismissiveness. People tend to trust those who make them feel seen or heard. Sigma males don't always do that. They may listen silently, then act on their own judgment without seeking input. That independence can look like, I know better, even if that's not the intent. Over time, it builds a reputation of arrogance. In truth, Sigma males usually don't see themselves as superior. They simply operate by internal standards rather than social ones. They're not trying to impress anyone, but in doing so, they can make others feel irrelevant. This is what triggers dislike. People want connection and equality. The Sigma seems to offer neither. Their confidence also creates tension with authority. A Sigma male will question leadership, challenge systems, and refuse to conform if it feels meaningless. While this is admirable in theory, it frustrates those who rely on order and obedience. What looks like courage to one person looks like arrogance to another. The irony is that the Sigma's independence, the very trait people admire, is also what makes them hard to love or trust. They move through life as if they owe no one anything, and while that's empowering, it often leaves them standing alone. The Sigma male has become a symbol of freedom in modern culture, a man who defines success and happiness on his own terms. But every strength has a shadow. The same independence that gives him peace can make him seem cold. His silence can create mystery but also misunderstanding. People hate Sigma males not because they are wrong, but because they are different. They don't fit into the social systems that give most people comfort. They challenge the idea that belonging is the only path to meaning. And for many, that's uncomfortable. Yet behind the mystery, the Sigma male is simply someone who values authenticity more than approval. He wants to live without pretending, to connect without control, and to succeed without attention. That pursuit confuses people who measure worth by popularity. So the question isn't really why people hate the Sigma male. It's why people fear what he represents, a reminder that you don't have to follow the crowd to find purpose. The Sigma male stands alone, not because he wants to be better than others, but because he refuses to be less than himself. When you look closely at the Sigma male, you start to see that most of what people hate about him comes from misunderstanding. The Sigma's quiet independence isn't a form of rebellion against the world. It's a decision to live differently from it. He doesn't crave control, status, or attention. What he wants is peace, self-direction, and meaning on his own terms. In a culture built on constant interaction and validation, that kind of mindset feels foreign, even threatening. Society often rewards those who fit predictable patterns. The loud leaders get praise. The agreeable followers get acceptance. The Sigma male fits into neither group, and that makes people uneasy. He moves through life as though the system doesn't apply to him, not out of pride, but out of conviction. He sees value in silence, privacy, and self-control. These traits don't draw crowds or applause, but they build inner strength. People tend to dislike what they don't understand, and they often project their insecurities onto those who live differently. When someone doesn't seek approval, it challenges the idea that approval is necessary. When someone doesn't chase attention, it exposes how many of us do. The Sigma male forces people to face their own dependency on external validation, and that's uncomfortable. But there's also another truth. The Sigma male's path isn't easy. Living outside the system means walking without a map. It means carrying your own burdens, making your own decisions, and owning every mistake. Many admire that strength, but few can handle the loneliness that comes with it. That's why the Sigma personality is often misunderstood. People see the surface, not the sacrifice. Being independent doesn't mean being happy all the time. The Sigma male struggles with doubt like anyone else. He questions his place in a world that constantly demands connection. He faces long stretches of silence where he wonders if his detachment is strength or defense. These are the quiet battles that no one sees. They don't fit the social media image of the cool, unbothered lone wolf. They're human moments, moments of searching, of questioning, of wondering if being misunderstood is just the price of being real. There's also a softer side to the Sigma male that often goes unnoticed. Beneath the quiet, there's usually empathy. He may not express it openly, but he feels deeply. His distance isn't rejection, it's caution. He values genuine emotion so much that he refuses to fake it. He's not cold, he's selective. He doesn't open up easily because trust means something to him. Once earned, it's lasting. That's why the few people who truly understand a Sigma often describe him as loyal, protective, and deeply thoughtful. The traits that people hate in the Sigma male, his silence, independence, and detachment, are the same ones that allow him to stay true to himself. They're not flaws, but filters. They keep him grounded in a world that constantly tries to shape everyone into the same mold. The cost of that authenticity is high. People might judge, misunderstand, or even dislike him, but he accepts that price. Because for him, the alternative, pretending to be someone else, would be worse. The modern world has blurred the line between connection and noise. Everyone is expected to share, post, talk, and perform. The Sigma male's refusal to participate in that endless exchange makes him stand out. He doesn't want to perform, he wants to exist. He doesn't need constant communication to feel complete. This quiet resistance can look like arrogance to those who rely on constant validation. But to the Sigma, it's not resistance at all, it's peace. Still, there's a lesson here for both sides. For the Sigma male, solitude should never turn into isolation. Independence should empower, not imprison. No matter how strong or self-reliant someone becomes, human connection remains essential. It doesn't have to come from crowds or constant attention. Even a few honest bonds can bring balance. For everyone else, the lesson is to stop fearing difference. Not every quiet person is cold. Not every independent man is arrogant. Sometimes the ones who walk alone simply see life from a different angle. Hating the Sigma male often says more about the world than about him. It shows how uncomfortable people are with those who can't be controlled or defined. It reveals how fragile social acceptance really is, how easily it turns to resentment when someone refuses to play along. But the truth is, society needs people like the Sigma male. They challenge norms, break cycles, and remind us that there's more than one way to live. They prove that meaning isn't found in applause, but in authenticity. So when people say they hate Sigma males, what they often mean is that they don't understand them. They see confidence where there's simply calm. They see distance where there's discipline. They see pride where there's purpose. The Sigma male doesn't owe the world an explanation for how he lives, but his presence quietly teaches something important, that peace of mind comes from within, not from approval. In the end, the Sigma male isn't trying to be mysterious or untouchable. He's just trying to be free. Free from social games, free from false expectations, and free from the constant noise of fitting in. That kind of freedom always looks strange to those still chasing acceptance. And maybe that's why people hate it, because deep down they wish they could do the same. So, if you truly want to understand the Sigma male, stop focusing on what makes him different and start asking what makes him real. He's not a mystery to solve or a stereotype to mock. He's a reflection of something everyone secretly wants, the courage to walk alone and still feel whole.